afternoon, everyone, and thank you again for joining us. And Emma, thank you for the warm welcome. It's great to be here, and welcome to CaptureCast 2021 for September. And we are glad that you are joining us. And joining me today is my colleague and good friend, Dr. Ken Sigler. Hey, Ken, how are you today?
Good. How are you, Chris?
Good. It's good to see you. It's been a while because we've been we're 4 or 5 states away from each other, but it's good to see you.
Good to see you too. I was thinking about when we first met, and it's nice finally being on the same team. But it made me think back to our Mansfield days, and I'm overdue for some treats from Buckeye Bakery. I don't know about you, but it's been too long.
Yeah, it's been a long time, and if I head back up to Ohio to see the in-laws, I'll be sure to swing by into Columbus and see you, obviously. But no, it's great to see you again. And you know, it's funny, we were talking yesterday. Between you and I, we have about 50 years of seated experience inside the higher ed category, actually being on college campuses. So being on this side is awesome. So I don't know if we're old or we're just starting to get there. So. Well, let's get to it. Good afternoon again, everybody. We just want to kind of bring you up to date on what we're going to do today. So here's today's agenda. We're going to do a little bit of background about Capture Higher Ed. We're going to talk about email. This is why we're all here. It's not dead, but it needs to evolve, and we're going to help you do that. We're also going to check into our behavioral email series and how we came about that and how we made some changes there. And then we're going to look at email as a larger system within your digital and recruitment cycle. And I think that's an important part for us to kind of take a look at and make sure that we bring everybody to have some good takeaways today. So a little bit about Capture Higher Ed. Capture, we are a leading enrollment and recruitment firm dedicated to success of our partners and their institutions every day. We believe in making every interaction count by using the industry's only behavioral intelligence platform. Our behavioral intelligence platform combines marketing automation and predictive modeling to support the entire recruitment cycle, from prospect, when we just first identify them, all the way through the time that they step on campus and enroll for the first time. This helps our partners' institutions identify, convert, and enroll the right students. Our team of industry experts accomplish this by using best-in-class marketing solutions like email, which we're going to discuss today, and other solutions and that will support your enrollment goals. So now that we've kind of gotten through that, let's really have an honest conversation about email. We all know that email is something that we all do. All campuses do it. Every business does it. We try to do our best at it, but we get very little in return. Colleges and universities purchase hundreds of thousands of names each year and must decide how they're going to position themselves with these emails. Emails is the cheapest form of lead generation out there. We know this going in, but still we suffer from low open rates, right? So low open rates. We buy hundreds of thousands of names, we get low open rates. Well, if you have low open rates, Ken, guess what happens? We get even lower click rates, right? So as the percentages go down, the percentages even get farther down from there. So you have, so when you're looking at the encounter part about it, you're looking at deliverability. Is your message being put through hygiene filters, making your campus ISPs tagged for spam? And that's something we'll kind of touch on a little bit later. This has ramifications to your personal one-on-one emails if you're not careful. Is the message that you're sending the right message at the right time? And we also talk about relevance. Are you sending the right message at the right time? Is that message that you want to send, that very important message, getting to that student or to that parent at the right time when they want it, not when you're just hitting a button and sending it to go? Email is difficult to manage. If you're good at email, email is difficult to manage. Are you buying the right names? Are you A/B testing your messages? Does that graphic fit what you're doing? There's all kinds of things that really go into that. We're going to talk a little bit about that today. I'm going to give you the autopsy or a dissection of what a good email is going to look like. But it's difficult to manage unless you have a really large team. And finally, it's the process. It's the data. Can you get yourself around the data enough to make real decisions? Open rates, click-through rates, If they bounce onto your website, what are they doing there? But are you able to take that data, put it into an algorithm, and make some real life decisions about your how you're going to do your social media advertising, how you're going to do extra marketing, and even giving your admissions counselors a fighting chance at making those relationships that are so very important in the recruitment process. So big business, email is big business and very valuable. Email communication has grown over the last 40 years. Today, more than 311 billion emails were sent daily. That's a ton, right? We all know that our inboxes are inundated every day with advertising, with work emails, with emails from your mom, emails from your dad, that kind of thing. It all comes in. With well over 5.6 billion active email users worldwide, email still holds a very important role in everything marketing. Think about this. Each day, the average person creates or sends or receives about 125 emails. Think about that. So when you're setting up your CRM information or you're working with a vendor like us to send out emails, think about that inbox on the other end. Are you getting the placement that you need? When you looked at your email box this morning, not only did you see your professional email, but you went to your personal email. And I know at our house, we have a third email address just for the bills. So you're checking email every day. So email, folks, is not dead. It's just something. But also keep in mind, it's also pretty useful because I know today I did get my Kohl's Cash discount for the month, Ken. It's something that's really important to my family. But nearly 100% of those who have email accounts check on them at least once a day, sometimes multiple times a day. Even Gen Z scans their inboxes on their mobile devices, right? So every time they pull up their phone, they're checking their email really quick, then they're on to their social media, that Twitter, the Facebook, the TikTok, and then they are back to doing whatever they're doing. But they're consuming information more than once a day. Today, we're going to talk about how to make email effective, not only within the framework of enrollment funnel, but how to leverage that data later as you control what you do from your marketing piece. But let's talk about email blasts for a second, because this is what a lot of campuses are doing. This is what a lot of people are doing right now. First of all, what's wrong with it? It's uncalled for. Prospective students and their parents do not want to respond to traditional batch and blast email marketing. In the past, email results may be considered inflated because we had sent a bunch of them out, and they get caught in this ISP loop over and over again, getting the same email over and over again. With less engagement due to prospects stuck in this loop, ISPs can flag senders for potential spam or junk. That's why, and we're going to talk about how we move things around for us about 20 months ago. But a lot of times, if you look at your Gmail now, there's 3 different buckets in your Gmail now. You have your regular email, then you have promotions, and you have your social. So it's important to kind of make sure that you're knowing what you're sending and when you're sending it. It's unsegmented. One major rule in marketing is that you can't be everything to every student. Each student is different, and while we can categorize many of them, first-year students, sophomores, juniors, it is still important to ensure that every interaction, whether it's a digital asset or your student callers making a phone call, it's personal and authentic. That's what Gen Z is demanding right now. That's the expectation. Third, it's unpredictable. Blast emails are typically one and done types of emails. They're not consistent and they're not very frequent. Most good email campaigns will have upward of 10 touch points before any interaction ever happens. Think about that for a second. You have to knock on the door about 10 times for them to interact if they're going to interact. So it's important that students understand, that you understand that that's what students are looking at. They're looking at it, but they might not be interacting with it. Fourth, it's unclear. Because most email blast campaigns are singular in nature, we try to cram everything in there. Apply now, come for a campus visit, join us for the football game, join the band, here's some information about your education. All this stuff gets piled in there. Your message gets lost, okay? It's unclear. Being concise, focused on 1 or 2 different things, and calls to action are very, very important. And lastly, it's untargeted. While segmentation is something that is there, targeting is even more, think of it as the second layer down. Targeting picks up right where the segmentation left off. Think of it as the second layer as you drill down, and additional characteristics like test scores, whether they're in state or out of state, whether they play a specific sport, do they play a specific instrument in the band, are they in the chorus, are they interested in Greek life? It's another way for you to kind of kind of make sure that you're targeted. But we don't do that in blast emails. We can't do that in blast emails because we only have one big message. So why email is still important? It still generates results and it's very low cost, right? It doesn't take much to buy a list, put an email together, and send it out. It's multi-device acceptable. So you can get it on your phone, you can get it on your computer, you can get it on your tablet. It's relevant. People are still using email to this day. I had 25 emails this morning already from work stuff. So if email works, it's a great way. It's a 24-hour access and 24-hour communication device that works. It can be automated and triggered. So within your CRMs right now, right? As a student moves through the process, you can send out an acceptance letter. You can send out your denial letters. You can say it's time to sign up for housing, or it's time to get registered for new student orientation. It's triggered by how they go through the process. But it also provides one-on-one opportunities for you and your counseling staff, right? So as counselors, we're reaching out to students every day. It might not be in a bulk email situation. You may actually go after that one specific honors program student, or that student that maybe had visited campus that you wanted to reach back out to. Creating those one-on-one connections is still an important thing for email, again, because it's targeted and because it can be a 24-hour-a-day thing. So let's stop back and take a look and drop back for a couple seconds here and think about what we've gone through in the last 20 months. At Capture, we've always utilized email systems for more than a decade. As with every client and every email, we review the results of that, and Ken's going to talk about that here in a little while. But we dissect what worked and what didn't work. We listen to our partners and study what is happening in the field every day. That's what a managed service does. That's what we do. We do it really, really well. But we noticed probably about 2 years ago that some things were happening in email. Placements weren't happening correctly. Everything was getting moved around a little bit. It was acting weird, to be honest with you. Results that we would normally expect to experience began to change because email providers began changing their algorithms, which influenced data points like deliverability and placement. And our partners noticed this as well. So this slide kind of talks about what our email system looked like about 20 months ago. It's a normal non-applicant status, kind of work your way through it. Not a lot of, there's some movement there, but wasn't really focused in on what the behavior piece of it was. So about 20 months ago, we brought together a team of marketing, technology, and data experts to really study what was going on in the space. And what happened was we learned from 50 million lessons. We listened to our partners, we listened to the experts, and we listened to the 500 million emails that we have sent for our partners over the last 10 years. And by doing so, we have created the behavioral email series. This helped us provide a better experience. The use of the bulk sending on a schedule was bad. It was a bad thing, and it didn't provide the right experience for our prospective students. But now in the behavioral email series, we're able to provide the right email at the right time based upon the experience and the behavior of the student at that time. We've created this behavioral email series, which not only delivers on an improved deliverability and placement of our emails in the inbox, but we've also provided that experience for that family that was personal, authentic in its messaging. It's also important to be delivered at the right time. When that student was interacting with your digital assets, that's when it was important to deliver that. So we set up that program to do it that way as well. It's part of the behavioral intelligence platform. So remember, this is part of the platform. It is informed by the platform. And we'll show it to you graphically here in a little while. But this powerful platform drives the data into this email. And what is great about it is it becomes this living, breathing entity. And you can see here, and Ken's going to give us a dissection of what the behavioral email series does for us here, but it's really interesting in how it's evolved. And now we're seeing great results for our partners, and we're so excited about it. So Ken, why don't you kind of take us through the behavioral email series a little bit and tell us what's great.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. I've been with Capture long enough now to have seen the transition, to have experienced the transition, and certainly many kudos to our to our comm specialists and the operations team that makes this all happen. But just getting to work with the partners day to day and being able to hear a lot of the challenges that you've already alluded to, this has been a great response. So, you know, when you look at the series as a whole, you can see very dynamic, very personalized, you know, improves deliverability. I think one really important thing you said was limiting, you know, the risk that the institution has of their emails becoming undeliverable. So that deliverability piece is really big to solidify that sender reputation. It moves with the students. We're going to talk about that a little bit more, but it moves with the students as they explore and get to know your institution better. It identifies disengaged students early in the process so that we're really honing in and zeroing in on those that are really engaged with your institution. We can certainly target subpopulations, so you can break down each grad year, sophomore, junior, senior, into very specific market segments, which we'll talk about as well. And then the analytics. This was not available when I was on the other side of the desk in the admissions office, but I know it was for you, Chris, and I know it was a huge benefit to have that available to you. But we'll take a look at those analytics too, so you can see the type of things that we're reporting on and how powerful that can be in directing your strategy. So in just taking a look at this visual for behavioral emails, you know, I think one of the things that I want you to take away is that it is a responsive communication flow, okay? And most importantly, the student is in control. So when you think about your own comm flow, you know, is it responsive, and are students in control of it? And so we actually find that there are better results when the student is in control. So you can see just by this graphic that it is very fluid in nature. There are multiple on and off ramps. And I think one of the keys too there at the bottom is the ability to re-engage. You know, why is that important? It gives those students an opportunity to sort of warm up to the institution. And if they weren't engaged early on, they do go into a non-responder series. But we come back after they've been through the emails in the non-responder series. We come back with 3 specific emails to try and draw them back in one more time. But this has definitely been really, really powerful for our partners, and we've seen a lot of great success from it.
I was going to say, Ken, one of the things that was about the re-engage piece, especially since the pandemic hit, a lot of students didn't know what they were going to be early on, and they didn't understand if they were going to be, when they were going to go or how they were going to go. So the re-engagement piece for us, when I was seated, it was re-engaging because once, to steal the word, right? When we started into that series, then all of a sudden, then students started popping in that we had been trying to talk to for the last 4 or 5, maybe 6 months. And all of a sudden then here comes these and they were really great students. They were honors program type students. So it was really a really great setup for us, and it made a big difference.
So in looking at the advantages here, there are 3 distinct, the first being the deliverability, right? And so you're looking at a near perfect deliverability rate, just over 99%. So that means the right student at the right time, getting the right message, bringing that home, and it's making it to their inbox. This is not getting buried in a junk or a spam folder. So that deliverability piece is really important. The second also is the open to click rate. You look at 35% across multiple industries, so from business to healthcare to education and a little bit of everything in between. they are seeing click to open rates, somewhere between 20 and 22%. So that 35%, and again, that goes back to the testament of our creative team as well, putting in the right subject lines and putting in the right images. And so our click to open rate has been really strong. And then lastly, you will see there the identification rate. What's identification? Happy to answer that for you. So 7 times the identification rate, we are able to connect students when they open and click in our Engage enabled emails. We're able to connect them back to our platform, our behavioral intelligence platform, and we're able to follow them as they engage on your website. So there are a number of other tools that are part of that platform that we can communicate, and again, just continue to move that student through your funnel to the next stage. So here's a little bit of the impact, Chris. This is kind of what we were running. Do you want to talk about this one just a little bit?
Sure. Some of our email partners, as we've gone ahead, this is what our email partners would see every day. So this is what I would pull up in the morning and kind of take a look at the email. And what they were seeing in 2020, this is one of our partners down here in the South. In 2020, they had, a lot of recipients, right? 304,000. That we're talking about email volume, right? A number of opens and clicks, obviously, and then the unsubscribers. But then we implemented the behavioral email series, and as you move to 2021, this is what was happening like right now. So you're seeing a 52% open rate. You're looking at a 4.63% click-through rate. So you're starting to see that the behavioral email series has really started to take off. But it's better. It's a lot different than what would be a standard drip campaign that we were doing before. So this has really just taken that next step for us. And it's really engaging students where they are, when they are, and being able to provide that right message at the right time. So when we talk about the behavioral email itself, a couple things we wanted to take away from, and this is just an example of one of our emails that we sent out that did really well. It actually has a 47% open rate currently right now. But you'll see that these emails have a personalized and intriguing subject line. So this subject line here, and I won't get into it too deep, but it actually uses the student's name and then the 2 verb actions that we want them to take away. So we want them to discover and to calculate, right? So at the beginning of the email, there is a hero unit that is there. There is a big graphic at the top, eye-catching, grabbing, and it has that call to action button. So maybe they already know who you are and they're excited to get that email. And right now, before they even read any farther, boom, they're going to hit that apply button and they're going to get off to the application. Then we kind of personalize the email just a little bit more. Not a lot of text, but here comes another giant graphic with a video link. That video link, everybody knows. You know, I know, everybody knows that Gen Z loves the video. And if you have really good videos, you want to feature those in those emails and have those students click over to your website, over to your YouTube channel to be able to consume that content. Then after that, here's the part about the calculation. We again use personalization with the student's name, and we want them to go ahead and click in to another place to calculate their scholarship. It's student-centric content, and it's focused on the student investing in the institution, investing in themselves. So again, big takeaway here: personalization, using the hero unit up front. Provide those big buttons up there. Put some video in there and have big graphics, graphic images. And then again, personalize everything that you can as you go through. So Ken, we can talk a little bit about this this dashboard, but I find this dashboard as somebody in the dean's level or the vice president's level really intriguing, because it's really cool. Because if the president called me on the phone and said, hey, what are we doing marketing wise? How are we doing with our email? Or why is our inquiry number so high? Or why are our applications up? I could come back and show them the investment that we made in real time. This, and I'm stealing some of Ken's thunder here, but This is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to our clients. Okay, this is transparent data that is running all the time. So every time you log in, your total opens are going to change. So Ken, kind of give us a little bit more background on that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the big thing here that we don't always see across the industry that I want to really highlight is the transparency. Like it's all right here. Certainly, we walk through these with our partners, but this is all available to them, as you already mentioned, on the platform 24/7. And we are handling. This is a managed service, so this is things we are handling for you. We've got experts behind the scenes taking care of all this. So, there's just some really important data here. Again, looking at the total recipients, the opens, the click-throughs. What you don't see is that you can drill even further and get similar analytics for each individual email. So this is showing you the analytics for the entire series. We can drill down into each individual email and show you the same type of analytics. So, after we've had it launched for, let's say, 4 to 6 weeks, we can go down through each of the individual emails as we look at, the different subject lines and the topics of each one. And we can go down there and, a recent one that I was just on a call this morning with a partner was that community piece, the community emails that we were sending out about the campus community, that tight-knit community, how everybody knows when that was clearly the one that had the most opens, and it also had the most clicks. So now, again, being able to be dynamic, they have the ability now to pivot if they need to and adjust some of their other messaging, right? Because as you'll talk about, this informs messaging across the campus. So they can adjust maybe some digital ads or some of their mailing campaigns to really focus more on that community aspect that clearly is resonating with their students.
I think that's an important thing for another takeaway on this too, Ken. You talked about transparency and being able to drill down. As a managed service, there is a team of individuals that are behind this every day. It's not just Ken, it's Ken and our graphic designers and our email people and our account executives who really sit down and they look at every email that's active every day to make sure that they're performing every day. So that if we have to make adjustments, whether it is A/B testing the time of day, or whether it's a graphic or a link that's working or not working, we manage that every day for our partners so that they don't have to. And I think that's a really important piece of how we move forward. So email does inform, and Ken kind of talked a little bit about this, but email and the data informs our multi-channel work. So we have all this student data, whether it's sitting in your CRM or it's part of our behavioral intelligence platform. We have all of this data that we are sitting on. So whether all the demographics that are there, but we also have our machine learning running behind it as well. So when we create these emails and we're sending out emails, we're able to send them out based upon the data that we have. And then what we do is we send that email out, and as students begin to interact with those emails, their behavior will drive the different messaging that they're going to get, right? So if they open things up and they're looking at, a specific program, then certain things can be served to them dynamically on the website as well. So, but to Ken's point, you can divert dollars in your marketing spend to what's working. Or if you're really trying to hit home like a new program or something like that, and you see some student behavior, you can grow your marketing spend in different areas to grow enrollment in different areas, and you can pull back on what's not working. Second thing is you're giving data-informed information to your counselors, and I can't tell you how awesome that part is. Every morning, counselors can open up their email, and they will get an email from Capture that says, these 15 students from your territory visited your website last night, or they interacted with an email last night. This is what they did after that. Having that information allows your admissions counselors to have better conversations, to send out better personal emails, to invite people to campus for campus visits, or invite them to a digital online campus visit, depending upon where you are. So it really informs those counselors to let them build those relationships. And then it also can help you with your print, mail, and outreach as well. So if no one's interacting with your information, maybe you don't send them your view book, or maybe you don't put them into your postcard series right away. You wait till we come back through with the re-engagement emails, and then when they pop back in, then you can send them your print mail. So you're saving some dollars there as well, possibly, and reinvesting it back into your marketing spend, or into your student callers, for instance, and buying them extra pizza one week or whatever it might be. But everything we do is built upon the behavioral intelligence platform. All of that data informs all of our emails, all of our digital assets that we use with our partners on a daily basis. And I can't tell you how much that means. So as we kind of conclude here, because we're right up against it, some key takeaways for you today. Email marketing is not dead, but it has to evolve to be effective. And gang, I think that's the most important thing, is that email is still something that we need to do. Gen Z is still reading it. Parents are still reading those emails as well. It's just how we can go ahead and put those together. And what we've done is our behavioral email series provides that dynamic, personalized approach to sending those emails as part of your digital strategies. And you take that data and you can also build it into your recruitment strategies with your counseling staff at the same time. So it's very important. Make sure, again, you personalize it. Make sure that you have calls to action within your emails. And lastly, make sure that you don't put a lot of messaging in there. Maybe 1 or 2 calls to action while you're in that email as an important takeaway. And finally, email must be part of that digital solution that we just talked about. The data capture can inform the rest of your marketing and recruitment strategy. We know that budgets are not huge. We know that they're not growing, but we know that we have to be better stewards of the money that we're provided to by our bosses. So as you go through and you're making decisions, having that transparency, having that information at your fingertips on those emails, especially with the behavioral email series, can really inform what's going to be happening in your digital solutions in the future as well. So nice thing about digital is you can change it midstream. You can change it tomorrow and start anew. So I think that's an important 3 takeaways for us to take away today. So any final questions or comments? Obviously you can hit us up on any of this stuff. And Emma, we're going to start to wrap up, but we will see you in Seattle and at NACAC. So if you're planning on be there, please be sure to stop by the booth or check us out at the Learning Lounge after that. So Emma, we'll turn it back over to you.